everybody. Hey, Lindsay Davis here with Spartan Invest, and I'm here to talk about COVID-19 and its effect on other small businesses in Alabama. So we've heard tons of interviews and spoken with a lot of restaurant owners. Obviously, the restaurant and the entertainment industry has been largely affected by the COVID-19. So I wanted to get the perspective of a local restaurant that's been around for over 100 years, one of the oldest restaurants in the country. So thank you so much. I've got Andreas Anastassakis, right?
Very good.
That's right, with the Bright Star joining me here today. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I told you, this is my first Zoom meeting, and I'm glad to do it with you, Lindsay. I'm honored that you invited me to do this with you today, and I'm excited to do this.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining and taking the time. So tell me a little bit about yourself and the Bright Star, its history, and its relation to Alabama.
Absolutely. So, I came to the Bright Star in 2010. Actually, tomorrow is my official 10-year anniversary working at the Bright Star. So I'm originally from Toronto, Canada, and my dad's first cousins, Jimmy and Nikki Koikis, own and operate the Bright Star, and they brought me here 10 years ago to help them with the restaurant. So I've been here 10 years and become one of the owners, and I'm now operating the restaurant with Nikki Koikis and his niece Stacy Craig. So I've been in that. I'm originally from Canada. I've been in Alabama for 10 years now, and the Bright Star has been in business since 1907. We are recognized by the state as the oldest restaurant in Alabama, and it's been an honor to join the team. And since I've been here in 2016, I've also started Bright Star Catering Company as well. So I own and operate that company as well as the Bright Star. So keeps me pretty busy.
I bet. And the employees at Spartan Invest know the catering company very well. We order from you guys every year. So for Thanksgiving and the holidays, we love it. So tell us, over 100 years, 1907, you said?
Yes, 1907, 113 years. May is the anniversary. So after May, we'll be starting our 114th year.
That's fantastic. I mean, it's such a staple to the Bessemer area, which we have a lot of properties, a lot of tenants, and in that particular area. So, and they're all very, it's just a, statewide staple. So great job. But I want to talk about how COVID has affected your business. I mean, obviously you guys were shut down, and no patrons can come into the restaurant. I mean, what has that done? What's the survivability of your restaurant right now?
Well, I think the right word that you used there is survival. When this happened, that was, the first thing that crossed my mind. The restaurant needs to go into survival mode. Obviously, with not, us being a 300-seat restaurant, a destination restaurant, people drive from different counties, different states, just to come see us. And, with that being our business model, just being able to do curbside and delivery was something that we had to make a quick adaptation to. Having 70 plus employees, it was, obviously we didn't have work for them anymore. So, we had to, steer our employees to go to unemployment, and we had to go into survival mode with our, our key employees that we wanted to keep. The idea was, we're going to do this. We're going to keep the restaurant going. We want to set an example for our employees that we will survive this. We will be here when this is all, we'll be left standing when this is all over. And we want to set an example for our valued guests that we would continue that we're still able to do through social distancing. So, I mean, for the last 6 weeks, we've been running our business like making decisions we never thought we would make before. I mean, the first thing that we did was redo our budget. What do we not need? I mean, it got down to, let's cancel the cable bill. When this happened, I mean, the restaurant business is a very small margin business, but there's a lot of moving parts and to make the restaurant happen. And there's, it's not just the employees that were affected by this. For instance, when Jefferson County had their decided to shut down, it was at 5 o'clock on Monday night. Tuesday is my big delivery day. I had to phone Panama City, Florida. They were loading up my fish order. I had to cancel it. I had to call Cisco. I had to call Wood Furniture. I had to call U.S. Foods. And it was just a trickle-down effect of all these orders that I had that people were depending on for their living that I had to stop. And then I went to work the next day. The linen company showed up. I said, hey, you can take the dirties, but I'm not taking any clean ones. I don't have any customers to use them with. So, I mean, they lost their business. And, it was just, and, once we got figured out where we were, I mean, the first week, sales were down 90%. And we said, well, we know where we are now. Let's build from this. And the next week we were down 85%. Then we were down 80%. So, I think the guests are adapting. They're realizing that, this is going to go on longer than we all anticipated. And, they're showing us tremendous support coming to the restaurant, and, which has allowed me to sell all the inventory I had. And now I'm able to call those companies back and say, for instance, today I called Panama City, Florida, and I said, hey, I need 300 pounds of fish. I'm out of fish. I need a little bit of shrimp. I need a little bit of oysters. So it's kind of, we're starting to move a little bit. We're all in this together. We all got to help each other through this.
Right. And you bring up such a good point about community, and the Bright Star has been involved in tons of nonprofits, charitable events. I always see you guys as a sponsor of that. So really kind of coming together, and you guys have a lot of loyalists that come into your restaurant religiously, and the fact that they're staying and continuing to come back just speaks volumes about the restaurant as a whole, and we're very lucky that a lot of our, on Spartans, and a lot of our responsibilities can be done from the house, but in the restaurant, entertainment, all of these industries, it just can't. So hearing kind of the just day-to-day struggle and, survival mode that you guys are in, I mean, that's got to be very, very tough. And like you were saying earlier, though, this is the second pandemic essentially that the Bright Star has seen. How crazy is this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like we've talked about, Bright Star's been around for 113 years, and I mean, they've been through the flu of 1918, the Great Depression, the recession of '08. I mean, it goes on, and it survived. It's going to survive. It's going to survive this pandemic. I don't know right now how this is going to change the restaurant business, but however it changes, I mean, we're going to adapt, and we're going to still be a player and be a part of the community. So, I mean,
that's
trying
great.
to take some positives out of this. Curbside is probably going to be something that we will continue to do that we didn't do before. And, hopefully it'll add some sales. One thing that we noticed when we got started was, the to-go orders we were doing, we started getting regular guests that were ordering every day. Well, they were not the same regular guests that were eating at the restaurant every day. So it was, we were finding new clientele through this. And then, Easter Sunday, we had a bad day, but when I look back at it, overwhelming response from the community that they wanted to come and be with us on that special day really made us feel good about ourselves, and what, you know, that the community, we mean as much to the community as they mean to us.
Yeah, I mean, to have that much volume on Easter Sunday during this time is so fantastic. And so moving forward, you know, plans to reopen, what does that timeline look like for you guys now that the state of Alabama has issued, you know, the different phases of reopening?
Yeah, you know, I really, I'm just taking things one day at a time right now. You know, we are starting to hire employees back. So what we've done is found out who was not eligible for unemployment, and we have brought them back. We are doing some thorough cleaning of the restaurant right now. We want, when people come back in that restaurant, we want that restaurant to look immaculate. We want it to look as good as it ever has. So it's an opportunity for us to do that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to get this restaurant back to where it was. I mean, when your sales are down 80%, you know, I mean, we don't have the inventory, we don't have the production, you know, and to just turn the light switch on and start serving guests like this never happened. So it's going to be a slow process, I think. You know, I mean, there's going to be social distancing guidelines at the restaurant, and you know, it's just going to be exciting to, you know, have people back in our historic dining rooms, sitting in the booths and the tables, and you know, getting to enjoy the experience of the Bright Star, because, you know, you come to Bright Star, and I mean, we have 105-year-old recently restored murals on the wall. We have the original tile floor, the marble walls. And so, you know, you come to the Bright Star, and I mean, it's you know, it's not just the great food that you get, it's the whole experience. And the whole experience for us has been taken away by not allowing guests into our restaurant. So having people come back in the doors is, you know, even at a limited basis for however long it takes, is just, you know, going to be a great feeling for us. And, you know, and we want to start bringing our people back. I mean, you know, I mean, people don't want to, we don't want people staying home. We want them coming back home to the Bright Star where they belong, and everybody, you know, contributing. You know, I always say, I mean, you know, a big restaurant like the Bright Star, the operation, I mean, there's just so many moving parts. And right now, those parts are just real limited, you know, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to, but, you know, ever since this has started, it has evolved in 6 weeks, how far we've come, even just doing what we've been doing. It's really amazing. Like I said, starting off being down 90%, and now only being off, you know, 80 to 75%, you know, that's a moral victory in itself. So
I completely agree. And that's fantastic that you guys went through and found out who might not have been eligible for the unemployment that's offered right now, and they were the first to come back. I mean, that's just fantastic to look out for your employees like that. And one of the things that I really enjoy getting to talk to you is that you guys look at the news. You know, the state of Alabama as a whole has not been as affected as other states, and there's a few reasons in that. The industries, Alabama's a little bit more insulated against something like this, and that our economy is not as heavy based on restaurant, entertainment industry. It's more manufacturing, healthcare, etc. So the fact that, you know, there's not a lot of publicity on the local restaurants and everything, and its effect in the state. So I really appreciate you talking about that, so we can get just a feel for what that looks like, because there's businesses that have been around for forever and that are really truly affected. So moving forward, you know, you said the curbside delivery, but what else do you foresee? That's one thing that I'm interested in, is how is this going to have an effect moving forward when the threat is no longer there? How is this shape our day to day. So I'm curious what you, it's hard to give projections, but what do you foresee in the future?
Yeah, you know, I think about this constantly. My hope is that people are going to have cabin fever and they're going to come roaring back, and they're going to want to get that fresh fish and the best steak in Alabama. And you know, but it's, you know, like I said, I mean, when the restaurant reopens, it's going to be with social distancing guidelines, and you know, it's just going to be, you know, we're going to have to wait and see and adapt, adapt to the environment. You know, like I said, I hope guests come back. I mean, we're known for having big parties. We got a room can seat up to 100 people. You know, right now we're going to be, when we do open up, we're going to be limited to 6 at a table. So, you know, we won't be able to host our big parties. You know, especially, you know, with the catering business. You know, I actually saw this coming earlier with the catering business. 1st of March, I had a breakfast booked for a big corporate event on a Monday morning at 6:30, and they canceled it on Sunday evening. So because of the coronavirus, this was March the 1st, and I just, all of my big events, all the corporations started canceling business meetings that required travel at that time because of the coronavirus. And at that time, you know, the restaurant wasn't really affected then. And then when the governor, I'll never forget that Friday evening, and put in a state of emergency for coronavirus, you know, it was a different feel in the restaurant. You know, Friday night, you know, we're packed on Friday nights, 400 plus guests come in, and it was just like something had just, a switch had gone off. You know, I mean, that Thursday, the day before Thursday, we had a great day of business, and Friday, once Governor Kay Ivey made declared the state of emergency, I mean, it was just a different eerie feel, is the way I'm gonna put it. And that weekend, the rest of the weekend, I mean, Saturday, Sunday, that feeling just carried on. And like I said, I remember being here Sunday and being home Monday and anticipating the news and seeing the county commissioner limit all restaurants to only curbside. You know, I just got on the phone and started calling, you know, my employees and calling all my suppliers, and you know, calling all my colleagues, and they asked me, what are we going to do? And so we're going to fight. We're going to fight for our business, and we're going to do what we have to do. We have to stay relevant right now. That's the main thing. We got to stay relevant because, you know, when we don't want people to forget who we are, you know, I mean, we're the bright star, and we're going to fight. We're going to fight for our employees. We're going to fight for our valued guests till the very end. I hear from so many different people, and it's just overwhelming. People that, you wouldn't have thought that you really had that great of a relationship with, and they reach out to you at this time and they say, hey, I got your number from so and so. I wanted just to call you and let you know I'm thinking about you, see how you're doing. And I tell everybody the same thing. Every day is getting a little bit better. So we're having more guests come to the restaurant and do the curbside every day. I mean, this past Sunday was our best Sunday yet. We did 115 people for lunch. You know, on a regular Sunday, we would serve 600 average. So, but it was a moral victory for us to serve 115 people and know that we gave them good quality food, and we didn't make any mistakes, didn't give anybody the wrong food, didn't forget anything. All these little things count. So, I mean, I told one of my key guys, last week he made some mistakes on some orders. And I told him, I said, you know why you're here right now working? I said, because you're my key guy. And I said, right now we got a microscope on us. We cannot make mistakes. We have to do this to keep the restaurant here so eventually everybody can be here with us. So it's...
yeah. I mean, that's fantastic. 115 people for curbside, though. I mean, that sounds huge.
Yeah.
To go from none and not even ever offering curbside, how quickly your business model had to change just like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, it's funny because, like, you know, when I'm doing my orders now, before it's like I'm doing my order and I'm ordering 1,500 pounds of snapper and 500 pounds of beef tenderloin and all this stuff. Now I'm like ordering to go packaging. It's just so much different. But we've all adapted to it, and we're making the best of the situation.
And that's fantastic. And thank you so much for bringing up that people are reaching out to, because we've seen that just in excess, in so much volume. And I know that that's everywhere across the country, but and maybe it's just because I'm Southern, but it feels very powerful, that the community aspect of that, the reaching out, the businesses, the small businesses that have been around. I'm a small business owner, you're a small business owner, reaching out and helping each other during this time, and it's just been in waves, and it's been fantastic to see of all of the negativity that's out there right now. That's definitely, the shining light, silver light. What is it? Silver lining? Is that
Silver
right?
lining. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm hanging around my kids too long. I forget adult analogies. So that's the silver lining in that for sure. What would, I won't keep you forever, but I just want to know kind of you've managed to shift, and right after that happened, week over week, your revenue has steadily increased. What advice would you give other restaurant owners or other just small businesses in general in continuing? Because you're right, as soon as, even though our state shelter order lifts in 2 weeks, they're not going to allow everything to go back to the way to normal. So what advice would you give other restaurant owners and small business owners to adapt over the next month and a half?
Absolutely. So, I mean, I've been paying attention, obviously, to the scene and what other restaurants have been doing, and modeling what I'm trying to do. And, the main thing for me that I'm finding is what's allowing me to continue to increase and reach more guests is not losing my identity. I see a lot of people, they're changing their menu up and trying to do stuff that is more coronavirus friendly, for lack of a better term. What I'm trying to do is keep my menu and keep my service as much as normal as possible. So when the guests come to see me, they can get that comfort that they're still getting the Bright Star. It's not, it's not something different than the Bright Star, and then, obviously my employees, I can't say enough about my key employees that have, they all told me, the first day when we started, they said, I'm here with you till the end. They were, it was very touching, how they handled the situation. I called them up. I said, look, it's going to be me and you and this guy, and that's it. I said, we can't, we got to fight through this as a team together. And the way that they have supported me and helped me through this has, been maybe showed me really how much they appreciate what I do for them, and and how much I appreciate them as well. But yeah, I think that was very important. We've limited our menu as little as possible and tried to keep it. So if someone, because we still get people that call us and they say, we drove 40 miles to come get your food today, and we're going to sit in the car and eat it out front because we can't come inside. What a wonderful thing to hear. What a compliment. So these people come 40 miles. I want them to get what because when a guest of the Bright Star comes to eat there, they don't look at the menu. They eat the same thing every time. They know what they want. They want a fried snapper almondine. They want a Greek tenderloin. They want a Greek snapper. They want fried shrimp. So, I'm making sure that still got all these top quality products. Like for instance, like, you know, usually I'll order on a normal week 1,200 to 1,500 pounds of snapper. You know, today I ordered 300 pounds of snapper because I know that's what I sold last week. That's where I'm at now. So I can still provide my guests with the freshest fish around. Just on a, you know, I just have to go about it in a different way, you know, and just in order, and I have to do some things differently behind the scenes to keep that fish as fresh as possible. But I can assure you, when those guests come and they get a curbside order, the quality of my food has not gone down.
Yeah, that's a really good point too, as far as not, you know, adapting but not changing completely. So I think that that's a really strong point of advice to restaurants and anyone, any small business that's facing this pandemic and it's been affected. You know, make sure that you're still continuing to, you know, create and perpetuate your own identity for whatever the business is known for. That's a really good point.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, if you come to get an order from me, you know, my business is down 80%, but my menu is not down 80%. You know, I still got, you know, I mean, I don't have 100% of the menu. There's certain things I did have to obviously cut out, but I'm still serving, you know, pretty much 90% of what would be on the menu if we were open at 100%. So we just had to, you know, and so, you know, like I said, I think the identity, not losing your identity, it's very important at this time. And like I said, finding different ways to, you know, to do the same thing on a smaller scale. So, because I mean, I think when this is all said and done, you know, our guests are going to appreciate that we were here for them at this time.
Definitely. I agree 100%. Well, thank you so much. And I can promise you, the second that we can, we're getting a babysitter and me and my husband are going to go to the Bright Star for a date night. I promise you that.
Hey, I look forward to it. That's going to be wonderful. You're going to call me and I'm going to book you the best table I got. And I'll make sure it's social distance for you.
We will definitely take it. We're going to be one of those that is going to beeline to the restaurant. So thank you so much for taking the time with me today. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Lindsay. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.